Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hi all, wishing you a great day. We're going to explore and work on the phrasal verb, carry out. You'll hear this one a lot, especially when people talk about work, plans, or responsibilities. So let's talk about what carry out really means. First, one very common meaning of the phrasal verb carry out is to do or complete a plan, a task, an order, or an instruction. When we say carry out, the idea is that something was decided or planned, and then it actually gets done. For example, the team carried out the plan successfully. She carried out her duties carefully. They carried out the instructions exactly as they were given. Now, there's another very common use of carry out. We also use carry out when we talk about formal or official actions. This includes things like tests, research, inspections, or investigations. For example, the company carried out a safety inspection. Scientists carried out an experiment. The police carried out an investigation. Here's the key idea that connects these uses. When we say carry out, we're talking about doing something fully. It's usually something planned, expected, or official. The focus is on completing it, not just starting it. Before we continue, let's quickly connect this to other languages. In Spanish, carry out is like saying llevar a cabo or realizar. In French, it's effectuer or réaliser. In Portuguese, people say realizar or executar. In Italian, it's svolgere or eseguire. In German, it's durchführen or ausführen. In Japanese, it's jiseng suru. And in Chinese, it's jiseng or jingsheng. Now let's think about when people usually use the phrasal verb carry out. People use carry out when they complete a plan or a project. They use it when they follow instructions or orders. They also use it for official actions at work or in formal situations. And very often, you'll hear it when people talk about responsibilities. Let's look at a few examples to bring it all together. She carried out the task on time. This is about completing a duty. The manager carried out the company's policy. That's following a plan. The engineers carried out several tests. That's a formal action. The study was carried out last year. Again, something official. He promised to carry out his responsibilities. That's about commitment. Now let's talk about how carry out works in a sentence. The phrasal verb carry out is separable. That means the object can go after the phrasal verb or in the middle. For example, with a noun. They carried out the plan. They carried the plan out. But here's an important point. When you use a pronoun, it has to go in the middle. So we say, they carried it out, and we don't say, they carried out it. So the usual structures are simple. You'll hear carry out plus a noun, or carry, then the noun or pronoun, then out. Now it's time to practice. First, you'll listen to a short text from everyday life. After that, you'll hear another text in a professional or office setting. Are you ready? Let's start. I woke up on Saturday knowing I had a list of small things I needed to get done. Nothing serious, just normal life stuff. After breakfast, I looked at my notes and decided to carry out a few tasks before the day slipped away. I started with the easiest one, which was cleaning the kitchen, just to feel like I was making progress. My partner came in and reminded me about a plan we had made earlier in the week. We had agreed to carry out a visit to my parents that afternoon. I almost forgot, but I said it was fine and that we could still carry out the plan after lunch. It wasn't a big deal, but it mattered to them. Later, my phone buzzed with a message from a friend. She asked if I had carried out the favor I promised her, which was dropping off some documents at her place. I told her I hadn't yet, but I would carry out that task on my way across town. In the afternoon, I finally left the house and started running errands. At the store, I remembered another thing I needed to carry out, which was buying groceries for the week. I grabbed what I needed, paid, and felt relieved knowing I had carried out something useful. When I got back home, my partner asked if I could carry out one more small thing and take out the trash. I laughed and said yes, even though I was getting tired. It felt good to carry out these simple responsibilities without rushing. That evening, we sat on the couch and talked about the day. We realized that none of the tasks were difficult, but actually carrying out what we plan makes life smoother. Before going to bed, I checked my list one last time and smiled. I hadn't done everything, but I had carried out enough to feel calm and satisfied. Great! That was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now, let's move on to the second text. The day started with a short planning meeting. The manager explained the goals for the week and reminded everyone that we needed to carry out the new process exactly as discussed. There were a few questions, but overall the plan was clear, and the team agreed to carry out the steps one by one. After the meeting, I checked my emails and saw a message from my supervisor. She asked me to carry out a review of a report before the end of the day. I added it to my task list and decided to carry out that review right after finishing a smaller assignment. Around mid-morning, a coworker stopped by my desk to talk about a client request. The client wanted us to carry out a small change to the project timeline. We talked it through, agreed on the update, and said we would carry out the adjustment and inform the client by the afternoon. Later on, the team gathered again to discuss a test we needed to run. One of the engineers explained how we would carry out the test and what results we expected. Everyone listened carefully because it was important to carry out the test correctly the first time. In the afternoon, things got busy. Phones rang, emails came in, and people moved between meetings. Even so, everyone stayed focused on what they needed to carry out. When a small issue came up, the manager calmly explained how to fix it and told us to carry out the solution without delay. Before the day ended, I sent an update email confirming that we had carried out the main tasks for the day. It felt good to see progress. At work, plans and ideas matter, but what really counts is taking responsibility and carrying out what needs to be done. Great, that was the second text, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!